Hey everybody, welcome to Versus episode 47. I am JWMaher coming to you from an undisclosed location, and that is Will Cohen. What's going on, Will?
Not much. It's been a wild ride with us like writing this ITN wave. So at some point we were going to hit the the middle of the road, the eye of the storm, shall we say.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've absolutely hit the eye of the storm, which is an ironic thing with a title like this.
Yeah, this is the most positively mediocre movie we've covered, and it's called Island Zero. Bad title though.
Get off the water!
What the hell was that? Where is it? Why can't we see it? Ooh, into the world.
Shut up, Ruben. It's not funny.
Thank goodness for short trailers. That is Island Zero.
That is the shittiest trailer. I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, granted, this movie is kind of all over the place, but it's an ITN film, of course it fucking is. But that trailer, like we've seen, I think we've seen enough of these films to know that like these movies are not competently made in any way, shape, or form. But usually the trailer at least indicates what kind of film you're getting. That trailer showed showed eroticism, X-Files, Twin Peaks, and comedy all in the trailer, and that's a short ass trailer.
30 seconds. A 30-second trailer, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like we honestly didn't it's like somehow the reverse happened. We knew what kind of movie we were making, but they handed off to a trailer editor who had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah, I'd say the movie itself, it's actually it's a plot like we've seen before. However, the only true failing of this movie is in the scope it's going for, it doesn't make any sense why this event would happen and why it would go unnoticed. Do you know what I'm saying? The plot as it stands is there is something in the water and it's killing people. Now we learn, spoilers, that it's part of a government conspiracy that is so large that they sent an agent to the island. But it feels like the scope of what they were trying to cover up demanded more than one person be there.
Especially the way that he handled it.
Yeah.
Especially what he was trying to do, which was even more asinine than I think that they meant to do it. Now, keep in mind, this is an absolute spoiler, but John and I were talking about this. Neither of us actually hated this movie. Now, the movie's not good. I'm just putting that on right now. And we will go into the very minutia of it because this does have a lot of the same, even dumber trappings than it probably should from the typical ITN, bag of tropes.
I think they limit them. They limit the exposure. It's like they had this awareness. This movie came out in 2018. If they had this awareness in now, none of their movies would be bad because they limited the shitty CGI. They protected themselves from the bad practical effects. They were they made themselves look competent with the special effects in this movie, which is, I don't know what happened after this, but they were in the sweet spot here.
Now, what I'm kind of curious about is in the timeline as to when this was released versus when the Blue Bun Honey was announced.
Oh, we're talking years before. This is this predates Jagged Edge entirely.
Oh, there you go. So that's interesting. So yeah, it is kind of it.
This movie is 2 years before Medusa. 2 years before Medusa came out.
It's interesting for twofold then. One, it's interesting to see how this film succeeded where a lot of future films failed. But it actually makes me terrified to know how bad it's going to get before we get to before we get to the genesis of Jagged Edge.
Yeah,
but
just to walk through the movie now, like the cold open, and honestly, as far as cold opens go, not bad. It's just an older. I'm gonna say they were going for this guy. I don't think they were playing him straight. I think he was an older gay gentleman.
Daddy's going below to make himself another drinky pool. You want one? What's that? What's that? A double? Ooh, you're getting daring, aren't you?
And his Yorkshire Terrier out on a boat, and he's just making drinks for himself and the Yorkshire Terrier. He's very excited, and
very inebriated.
Yeah, he's very drunk.
I don't think he was like. Let's be honest. I don't think he was actually playing inebriated. I think he actually just paid him in booze.
Yeah, and the Yorkshire Terrier gets eaten.
Oh.
And cold open. Fair enough.
So it's very God damn it. I lost the author's name in my head. Benchley?
Peter Benchley, yes.
Peter Benchley. Okay. Yeah. I want to say Richard Benchley. I didn't think that was right. But no, this is a very Peter Benchley-esque moment where, all of a sudden a small animal or, sometimes small child, but they couldn't hire a good actor to, play up the, play with drunk daddy over there. And so, yeah, small animal gets like eaten and that's it. Like, so it's like, no bad CGI, no bad, like surprisingly decent acting in that scene too.
And they knew the limitations of the effects. Like the dog had a life jacket on, and they just made the life jacket into like a bloody life jacket, and like cool. Like it was no notes actually for a low budget cold open sort of comedy, sort of whatever. No notes. Like it's they hit within the range.
Yeah, this is exactly how a shit movie is supposed to start.
Yeah, like.
For fans of the schlock, like this is 100% pure schlock, and so they knew how exactly to get the audience of schlock on their side, and they 100% did it. So as John said, chef's kiss, no notes.
Then we're introduced like it's an island off the coast of Maine, 40 miles off the coast of Maine. So the island itself is its self-contained community. There's a ferry that goes back and forth to the mainland. I assume once or twice per day. So we have our island residents, and then we have our day trippers, but they all get stranded there because the ferry, it stops coming. And we don't know why.
Right. I mean, it's like, obviously, with that cold open, we have an idea.
Yeah.
But we don't, but like the longer the film goes, it's obvious that something is going on. But it's like, this is where they start blending in all the tropes from better movies.
There's a lot of like side plots in this movie that are just like in there. And like I'm going to say like there's a lot of them, but they don't really detract from the movie. Right. Cause you've got like the waitress in the diner. She like there, and then there's the dude that like really kind of creepily loves her, and they used to date.
Want anything else, Emmett?
Another chance with you.
But now she's interested in this rogue kind of author character who's writing a book about the island.
It's a story about love and jealousy and a very pretty girl.
So there's that. Then there's the doctor that doesn't live on the island, but she comes and is the doctor on the island every once in a while. She gets stranded there.
Well, it seems like she's there for the summers.
Never does anything around the house anymore. I gotta do it all. Yesterday, I split a whole half cord of wood all by myself. Ask him to do the simplest thing, and he's tired. Like I'm not tired?
Ruth, could you step outside? I'd like to hear what Alvis has to say.
Like the summer and fall. So she's their doctor during the on season. So like as soon
the
as
on season goes pretty deep because this movie starts on December 18th because day 7 is Christmas.
right. So like it's but remember that she said that she was not going to come back until March, and so I imagine that from like right around that time to the end, to like when spring happens, that's the off season.
Yeah, this island is like really remote though. Like you've got like not many people. Like I mean, I guess there are more people. It's kind of like a scenario like The Mist. Like there's clearly more people, but they only have you deal with a few of them. And the one main character, he's not a disgraced marine biologist, but he's definitely like one that like his theories have been marginalized, and he has a late wife who also had the same theories.
Ctenophora.
What?
Gelatinous zooplankton.
What?
It's a comb jellyfish.
Hell, I know it's a jellyfish, but what are they doing up here in December? You're the biologist, you tell me.
We find out, spoiler alert, that their marginalized theories got her killed because they were right. And then he's now dating a journalist who doesn't
Right.
want to, she doesn't want to, she's sick of this island. She wants to get off.
Sam, I'm going back to Boston.
And then he and his late wife have a child who loves thermo cameras.
Ooh. Neat. Lucy.
You unwrapped your own Christmas present, didn't you?
So this, if I had to point out like one weak point in the script, I think it's everything surrounding this dude.
And the daughter's haircut.
And you remembered I wanted the built-in
Just
laser.
put it back under the tree.
I mean,
But go ahead.
yeah, like half bowl cut, half like
It's the Prince Valiant haircut from the old comics.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like we're dooming you to like a life of pantsuits, lady. But like this guy, I don't have a good beat on him, because like, is he truly disgraced, or is he disgraced by choice? Is he like, because it seems like his wife had the same, as you said, had the same crackpot theories, but everything that we know about his wife was respected in her field.
Yeah.
So how is she respected and he is not?
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get that either, because like then there's all those throwaway lines like, you can get a job at the university. It's like, oh, they'd never take me, kind of thing. It's like, well, yeah, it doesn't really make sense, because yeah, if she was onto something, if people knew she was onto something, how did all the funding get cut, et cetera, et cetera? We find out later it's a government conspiracy, like a very like weak. I love these low budget movies where it's like a government conspiracy, but there's no government presence. They couldn't afford a government presence.
Right.
Yeah.
And let alone the fact that we don't know what part of government.
Yeah.
We don't know
like,
whose government.
It's also so weird that like, we'll just dive right into it. Like the whatever they are, like we never really know what the creatures are, other than the fact that they are some kind of, I guess, squid. I guess they look, when they finally catch the thing, it looks kind of like a giant squid, but it's not. They're like
a squid with legs. Yeah,
they're medium squids that can run on land.
Some kind of protective armor?
Which is, and their big shtick, as we find out, is that they are like the new undiscovered apex predator, which exactly.
And they've given it the predator special ability because it can bend light. So they're predator squid.
They're predator squid. There we go.
Yeah.
And the fact that this is like very Peter Benchley, like right then and there. But also their big shtick is that they move with the fish migration. So it's like when a fish ecosystem is completely all fished out, then they move they start picking off the people who picked off the fish, and then they move to where fish are migrating to.
Yes. So
Which
with global warming, they've moved up the coast, and they are now currently in not many places to go after Maine, unfortunately, but they're in Maine right now.
Yeah, because they said that they were like, I swear to God, they said like they were like in like Africa and South America, then they moved to like Mexico, and now they're here. Which
yeah, we're whatever. We know that none of the people behind any of these movies know anything about science. Normally, they'd go out from the equator. They wouldn't cross over the equator. But I digress.
Right. So it's we find out that one of these people that we've been following the entire time is, and who they say they is, and spoiler, it's the rogue author, because he's not an actual author, because when he ever shares the stories are all conflicting. They have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
And so we finally find out he is our rogue agent.
He killed Jessie and left her hanging on the porch like bait. And they gutted her.
That he has been, he's been the one making sure that this gets buried, and he goes from port to port wherever this thing shows up. They have captured one of these things previously.
I think 2 or 3 times they've captured it. Yeah. And they have a rudimentary understanding of the language. So all this guy is armed with is like a speak and spell that basically has a few phrases on it, and it does not help him.
I'm a friend. Don't attack. Don't attack.
No, he gets like just absolutely torn the fuck apart, which is absolutely hilarious, because they're like, well, where did this guy go? He's like there and there and there. Like, so they just retold the Jeff Dunham joke, but without the humor
or the
and without the subtlety, because you actually see the blood in the body parts and viscera just spread everywhere. But do not feel bad for this motherfucker, because he kills the woman he sleeps with, the kind-hearted waitress. He literally like hangs her from a tree and guts her.
He like cannibal holocausts her. He like puts her on like a spike outside of the window. It's crazy.
It's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, but then like we learn that like the squid predators can't handle heat, and everyone kind of it's such a jumbled mess kind of at the end. And then they do the ITN thing where the movie doesn't resolve either. Like,
right, they're just like rowing, just like there's an explanation. We get some kind of like, we get like a ton of like backstory from the doctor talking to the daughter, talking to like a bunch of other things. It's like blah blah blah. This is what happened in the war. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so if we're gonna survive, we can't use the motor. Blah 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 blah. And so we see the doctor rowing like the town old bitch.
It's the elderly couple and the daughter and the doctor are the only 4 people that get off the island. So even our main characters are like, well, I know the stepmom lady gets her arm torn off. And then the doctor stays with her, and it's assumed he dies. But yeah, then the rowboat just goes off into the distance, and the movie ends. Like they're fucked,
and all the doctor is just saying is, we can do this. We can do this.
It's 40 miles.
I can do it. I can do it. I can do it.
They can't do it.
No.
Had
this movie resolved?
I might have gone higher. It needed the resolution, like the Air Force comes or some bullshit. Like, come on. Whatever. Let's just rate it.
Yeah.
All right. everything being said, I'll go first. Like, it's not, there's no like gross things. Like, the acting isn't horrible. The special effects are better than they should be. It's really just the fact that the story is absolute shit. So I can't fault the movie too much. I'm at a 2.5. What do you say, Will?
Big fucking surprise. We agree again. I'm also at 2.5 here. Mainly just because when you get into schlock territory, plot and story are just absolutely inconsequential. Like, you're here to see monsters, and we kind of see them, but I really like the way that they managed to get around the fact that they weren't going to be able to show these monsters. It's like, do we have the budget to make a monster? No, but we're going to like throw enough CGI at this to give you the idea of what these things look like, and occasionally catch it on thermal imaging. So it's like it's kind of brilliant in the way that they managed to get around this.
Yeah.
But the problem is that by the end of Act 2, they don't understand what they want to do. And so they choose the cop-out ending and not give an ending. And it's like with schlock, you have to give a resolution. And they just chose not to do that.
Yeah, because given the way those creatures kill everybody, and everything you've seen for actually it's a pretty lengthy movie for the 90 minutes plus prior to them getting off the island, they are fucked. Like, there's no way they get away. It's like, you think you're giving us an ambiguous ending. It's not. There's no fucking way they make it 40 miles because they've killed every single thing that's ever been on the water.
Which if you're going to we've had much better horror films that manage to pull that off. The movie that comes to mind immediately is The Thing, where we know that that neither of those two dudes are surviving. That they are going, that they're just, that they both understand we are going to freeze to death. And had they given these characters the ability to just know that they are fucked, that they're just dead in the water and fucked. Again, that's still a resolution. It's not a good it's not like a clean resolution. It's not a happy ending resolution, but it is enough of a resolution that this would have made it a better film. But they chose to not make a choice, and that is just dumb.
I'm going to end on that note because that's true. If you made it this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. And while you're at it, you can also go on over to Letterboxd and join the Letterboxd challenge. Go right there and check that out. You can watch movies along with us all year. And the schedule here has changed. There's a brand new show. It aired yesterday. My daughter, Liv Maher, is now doing her own show on this channel. It's for kids only. You can't comment on those videos because they're kids only videos. But we're branching out into a friendlier show. Family horror movies. Why Liv Loves Horrors on Sundays. Mondays is Versus, you're watching it. Thursdays, Why We Love Horror. Friday, Why We Love Horror Trivia. But until next time, we do appreciate you stopping by to watch horrible movies with us. I'm JWMaher, and that's Will Cohen, and this has been Versus.